everyone, it's Rochelle and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with another video for you guys, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I achieved this hair color, and I'm also going to show you guys how I made this wig from start to finish. So if you guys want to see how I made this wig and got this color, then please continue to watch. Let's get started. So today I'm going to be using the AliPearl Body Wave Human Hair in 613. I love using the 613 hair because they're easy to color. I don't have to bleach it from black to blonde and then color it. So this is an easier process, and I'm using 3 bundles and a frontal. So all the lengths and everything will be in the description bar down below. And I'm going to be using the Adore Semi-Permanent hair dye, and this is in the shade indigo blue. I'm also using the Ion Color Brilliance semi-permanent dye in the shade sky blue. So first you're going to need a mixing bowl, and I'm going to put the sky blue into my mixing bowl, and then I'm going to go in with the Adore indigo blue shade, and I'm just going to mix them together. You guys, I've actually made this wig before and it was an epic fail because I used just the indigo blue shade and it actually turned my wig like a shade of blue that I didn't like. Some parts were black and some parts were blue. I don't know what happened, so that's why I decided to mix the colors today. Now I'm going to do the watercolor method. It's really easy and really simple, so that's what I'm going to do for all 3 bundles. So I mix the dyes together, and then I go ahead and I pour it into this container, this bucket right here, and then I'm going to pour some hot water into the bucket, and then I'm going to go in with my bundles. Make sure you're wearing your gloves because your fingers will get stained. My fingers got really stained in this video even though I had gloves on because my gloves were way too big for my little hands. Anyway, so I put the hair into the bucket and voila, it is blue within like a minute. Like it turned blue real fast, and I'm just gonna add some more of that indigo blue and just add the hair back into that bucket because I just want to make sure that all the pieces turn blue, because sometimes you can have some lighter pieces or some parts of the hair that's still blonde, and I just want to make sure everything is blue. So this is pretty much what the finished product looks like. I really love the shade of blue. This is exactly the shade that I wanted. So I did the other bundles off camera because it's pretty much the same method, and I actually washed the hair with some shampoo and conditioner off camera as well. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the frontal. So I applied some GOT2B gel. That's why my frontal looks like that. So I applied it onto the lace to protect the lace. That way I don't stain my lace. Now you could do the watercolor method with your frontal. However, I chose not to do that method only because when you do that method, you will end up dyeing the knots on the frontal. And because this is a darker shade that we're doing today, I didn't want my knots to be dark blue. Like I didn't want them to look so obvious so the wig hairline would look fake. So I figured I'm going to dye this the old-fashioned way, which is by hand and not the watercolor method. So to dye the frontal, I'm using the same exact products. I'm using the Ion Color Brilliance Sky Blue semi-permanent hair dye, and I'm going to use the Adore indigo blue as well. So I'm just going to put that into my mixing bowl. I'll put in the description bar how much products I actually used. So I'm just applying that into my mixing bowl, and I'm just going to mix the products together just like we did with the watercolor method. However, I'm going to add some conditioner to this. You can use any conditioner as long as it's white, so just make sure the conditioner is white, and this is just to basically make that product stretch. And the Adore semi-permanent hair dye, it's a little bit more on the runny side, so I wanted it to be thicker, so that's why I add the conditioner as well. Alright, let's get started on this frontal. So I'm just going to go in with my comb and just part it. And then I'm going to go in with my brush, my application brush, and I'm going to start dyeing the hair. So you really want to be gentle with this and not super heavy-handed, because even though I protected the lace, I applied the GOT2B gel to shield it so it's protected and it wouldn't get stained. If you're too heavy-handed, the product can still soak into that frontal and ruin your entire life. I'm just kidding, ruin your entire frontal. But yeah, so I'm just taking my time and just applying the hair dye all over that hair, making sure that we cover all the blonde pieces. And I'm gonna go ahead and part sections of the hair as well, just to again get every piece, cover all that hair and get the roots and everything. Yes, this is a longer process, but I prefer this method with the frontal, especially with this hair dye, because the lace frontal just doesn't look natural when the knots are very dark. So that's why I did it this method instead of the watercolor method, because the watercolor method would have definitely dyed the knots on this frontal. On my lighter shade hairs that I wear, like the pastel colors, it's not a problem because the knots don't get very dark. So I already washed the dye out. I kept it in for about 30 minutes and I washed it out. All right, so moving right along, I'm gonna get my comb and I'm going to part the hair. So I'm parting behind the hairline and I'm gonna go in with a tweezer and I'm gonna start tweezing. So I usually tweeze my lace frontals behind the hairline to make them look a lot more natural. Now, if this frontal was not a pre-plucked frontal, I would tweeze a lot from the front of the hairline. So I'm doing behind the hairline with a pre-plucked frontal. Even though the frontal is a pre-plucked one, I still have to do some tweezing because it won't look very natural when I put it on my head. So just go behind the hairline and tweeze. Don't get too carried away with this because you don't want to get any bald spots. It's happened to me plenty of time. And all that hair that you see on the comb is pretty much the hair that I've tweezed out. So that's not the frontal shedding or anything. That's just the hair that I tweezed out. Now, I don't like to go tweezer crazy until the wig is actually completed and I can get an idea of how it's going to look on my head. So I usually go back and tweeze later on. So now we're going to move on to something that I just tried for the first time. I do have some stains on my frontal and I didn't like the stains. So I went in with the Sally Hansen airbrush legs and I'm using the shade, I think this is Glow Tan, which was just a tad bit darker than me, just a tad bit, but it wasn't that bad. Anyways, I used this to change the color on the frontal because I wanted the frontal to have a more natural skin-like look. With the translucent lace, they do have a white tinge to it. So when I do apply them on my head, you can see a little bit of white unless I put foundation on it. But I feel like this method actually works so much better. I really like this method, and it gave it more like a scalp, like the frontal look more natural, I find, when I do the Sally Hansen method instead of doing foundation. Okay, so I'm happy with my lace frontal. So now we're going to move on to actually making the wig. I'm going to use a mesh dome style wig cap and they come in different sizes. So I have the regular size and they also come in extra large. I use the regular size. My head is about 21 inches, which is the same size as my canvas head. And if you see those little markings on that wig cap, those are pretty much like where my ear would be. So I tried my wig cap on first before I put my wig on, and then I put the marks, and then I go ahead and apply the lace frontal to the wig cap, and I'm using some T-pins to secure that lace frontal as well. Now I personally prefer using the mesh dome style wig caps because they stretch and they fit my head perfectly. And as for this canvas head, oh my gosh, you guys, I used a styrofoam head before and it doesn't work. Like the canvas head works so well because it looks more like a real head, right? And this one I got in the exact same size as my head. Anyways, I'm going to be using a needle and a thread because that's what you do to sew down the frontal. And it's a weave-in needle, and I'm going to start off by going from the middle. So you want to start off in the middle first and then work your way all the way down to the end. I learned this from watching Tira Monet's video. She is amazing at making wigs. I love her videos so much. She makes really bomb hair videos, and I've learned a lot from watching her channel as well. So yeah, just make sure that the stitching are flat and they're not bumpy, because if they're bumpy, your wig is not going to be laying down flat. Okay, so you want to make sure you just take your time and make your stitching nice and flat. Okay, so now that we're getting closer to the end, you want to get your scissors and just cut that thread, that excess thread. And I like to tie a knot or two, and then I go ahead and cut it again. That way it doesn't come undone. All right, so the frontal is all sewn down. I'm just going to put it in a little bun just to get it out of the way, and then we are going to start applying the wefts to the cap. So I'm going to start off with the longest weft first. I think this is the 26 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and use my T-pins just to secure it to make my life a lot easier when I'm sewing down the hair. All right, so now I'm going to go in with my needle and thread, and I'm going to go ahead and start stitching down this weft to the wig cap. And I'm just going to go ahead and try and make my stitching as flat as I possibly can. Like I mentioned before, you don't want this to be bumpy or lumpy, or else your wig will not be laying down flat, hun, okay? So you gotta really make sure the stitchings are nice and flat. And I'm getting a little faster with this whole wig thing, you guys. Like before, it would take me forever to make a wig. Like, you guys don't even want to know. Like, it'll take me like 10 hours. I'd be sitting there sewing, but I've gotten a lot faster. I think I'm down to like maybe 4 or 3 hours now with sewing the wig, so I've gotten a lot faster. Plus I took my long nails off. Anyways, I'm doing the fold over method. So if, as you notice, I did not cut the weft, I went ahead and do the fold over method, and we're going to continue doing that and just making the stitch nice and flat. I'm going to speed up some of this video because this part is very, very repetitive, and I'm doing the same thing over and over. So I'm going to continue to do the fold over method. So I'm still on my one bundle of hair. I'm going to continue to do the fold over method until we get closer to the top. So I'm just going to continue to sew them down nice and flat. Alright guys, so now that we're getting closer to the top, I went ahead and cut the wefts, and we're getting real close to finishing up this wig. So I went ahead, cut the weft, and now I'm going to go straight across, okay? So we're going to go straight across, and I'm going to sew it down flat and also cut the weft again, and then apply the weft straight across again. And we're going to continue doing this step, and I'm going to speed this part up once again because this part is pretty much the same thing. It's very repetitive. Yes, finally, we're almost finished. We're down to our last track. So I'm going to go ahead and place that last track and sew it down, and our wig is pretty much completed. I mean, it's finished. We're done sewing. So now all we have to do is style this wig. Actually, I take that back. So before we style the wig, I'm going to go ahead and remove the T-pins, and then I'm going to cut off that excess cap that's on the wig because we don't need that excess wig cap anymore at all, because if you put the wig on, you're going to see that black cap. So that black cap thingy right there gots to go, so we don't need that anymore. Now I didn't use an elastic band with this wig, which I usually use an elastic band to make it fit my head perfectly, but honestly the fit was actually perfect, the size was perfect, so I didn't need to use an elastic band. And I went in with my blow dryer to blow this hair out straight, and today I'm going to be rocking a center part. But before we do all of that, we're going to go ahead and tweeze some more. Remember how I mentioned to you guys I usually like to go back and tweeze the hair after the wig is completed, just to make sure that the hairline look as natural as I can get it. So I'm really happy with the way it looks, and the hair product that I use is the Chi Hair Serum. So I don't really use a lot of products in my wigs, but this is what I mainly use. And I'm going to go in with my flat iron. So this brand is from Ion. I'm not sure what style flat iron it is. I got it a while ago, but it's really good. It straightens the hair out really nicely, and I'm sure you guys know how to use a flat iron and straighten hair, so we're just going to speed this part up. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut that excess lace off because we don't need that part anymore. And a lot of you guys mentioned that you guys have a difficult time with this. To be honest with you, I have a difficult time with this part, especially on camera, because I'm literally looking at the viewfinder. I have a tiny little mirror beside me, and I like to be in a big mirror when I do this because I don't like to screw it up. So as you can see, I just cut around the ear part, so I make sure that the lace frontal is by my ear. I put my finger there just to map it out kind of, and then just go ahead and cut it. Now as you can see, I'm going with the scissors kind of jaggedy, like I'm not cutting it straight, because when it cuts straight it looks too blunt and it looks too straight, so I kind of like to do it a little bit jaggedy, if that makes sense. So yeah, just take your time with it. I like to cut the lace in small pieces and just continue to cut until I'm happy with it. So I do leave a tiny little bit of lace on it for my foreheads for when we're gluing down the lace. Yeah, so just take your time when you're cutting that lace. I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous when I'm doing this part, especially on camera, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, look at the little tiny mirror I'm using. I wish you guys could see it. And I did not want to screw up my lace at all, or else I would have been screwed. But yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like once the lace is all off. And as for gluing down the wig, I used the Bold Hold lace glue. I didn't do a full-on method on how I glue my wigs down because I already have videos like that on my channel. I have like at least 3 or 4 videos on how I apply my wigs. Nothing's changed, but I am planning on doing a video just for that, even though I have that already. But yeah, the wig is all glued down, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a center part for you guys because a lot of you have requested me to do a center part. Now this wig, you can pretty much wear it in a center part, a deep side part, pretty much anything. So this is what it looks like once the wig is applied. I'm going to go in with a little bit of my foundation powder in the shade NC45 from MAC, and I'm just going to apply that on the part and along the hairline just to give it a more natural look. And then I'm going to go in with some hair mousse because I want this wig to be laying down flat, honey. So the hair mousse that I use, it's called So Gorgeous. I got it at Sally's. I freaking love it. It's amazing. Now this next step is completely optional. You can do baby hairs, you cannot do baby hair, you can do baby hairs that are not like so extra like the ones I'm about to do. I did the baby hair with it because I thought it would look really cool with the blue hair. I'm not really a big fan of baby hair and I don't really know how to do them that well, you guys, but I'm trying. So I'm going to use this little eyebrow razor, and I'm just going to part my hair and take out these little tiny baby hairs at the side and just trim them. And then I'm going to go in with my GOT2B gel. I love this one for baby hairs, and I'm going to use my toothbrush and just make that little swoop, just that little swoop. Okay, I'm really not that good at baby hair, you guys, and I can't even explain what the hell I'm doing that well, so just watch what I'm doing. So I'm taking out the little sides and just cutting it and then doing the little swoop. So yeah, you guys can just watch what I'm doing. Like I mentioned before, I did these baby hairs a little thicker than I would usually wear them, but I felt like it looked really good with this blue hair. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and I'm going to repeat the same steps on the other side as well. Alright, so the hair is laid, it is completed. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up this video if you do. Comment down below, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you in another video very soon. I love you guys so much, and I hope this video really helped you guys. Thank you for watching.